I'm going to craft a fresh YouTube-style script inspired by the topic, with strong personal commentary and a creator's voice. This will feel like a brand new reaction and analysis, not a recap of the source. Let's dive in. What's the real story here at the Players? It isn't just Rory McIlroy's score. It's a fight with rust, a back that's still wobbling, and the stubborn reality that elite golf is as much mental as it is mechanical. Personally, I think this week is less about the leaderboard and more about whether he can salvage momentum for the Masters. What makes this really interesting is watching a two-time winner of the Players adapt on a course that's brutal on both body and psyche. If you step back and think about it, this isn't about one good round. It's about resilience under real constraints. And that's a narrative that transcends golf. Let's break down the key threads I'm tracking, and I'll interject my take after each one. First idea. The rust versus rhythm dynamic. Rory arrives with limited practice, the back spasms fresh in memory, and yet the timing around impact looks solid when the swing starts to reset. My take. The body is the gatekeeper here. The ball is going to do what the swing is allowed to do, and in a sport where micro-adjustments matter, any sign of rhythm is a win. What I'm noticing is that long game speed and ball striking appear fine, even impressive given the scenario. This matters because it signals his baseline is still elite. The question is how long can he ride that without aggravating the back? What people miss is that relief isn't a straight line. Two good holes can flip confidence, which then changes the next practice block and next round. If you connect the dots, you see a broader trend. Athletes frequently perform above their practice comfort zone in competition, and that mental edge can compensate for a lack of reps. Second idea. The short game and the backward slope of the week. He's struggled with chipping early, and then putter struggles on Friday, notably failing to drop a longer putt until the 18th. My interpretation. With back pain and downhill lies, tighter lies demand more bending and flexibility, which are precisely the things that flinch when you're fighting discomfort. The fix isn't magical, it's micro-adjustments, pace judgment, and sometimes accepting a few bad breaks to stay in the fight. What this really suggests is that the elite players aren't just physically sharp, they have a cognitive toolkit for damage control, knowing when to grind out a par, and when to press for a birdie. The broader trend here is how modern golf rewards adaptive strategy under pressure rather than pure athletic 405ism alone. A lot of people underestimate how much mental framing, not just muscle memory, shifts outcomes on tough courses. Third idea. The narrative of the cut line as a pressure gauge. Walking to the ninth with a birdie from 31 feet to salvage the weekend is a microstory of survival. My view. Anything that shifts a player from "if I miss the cut" to "I'll play 2 more days" changes the entire energy in a pairing and a group. It's not just about staying relevant. It's about preserving momentum and avoiding the mentally heavy swing of last-minute decisions about calendars and schedules. What's fascinating is that this is where the sports calendar becomes a strategic asset. If you're healthy enough to keep playing, you keep building the habit loop. The little wins compound into belief. People overlook how critical this is when a season's rhythm is already fragile. Fourth idea. The contrast with peers who miss the cut. Griffin misses by a few strokes, while others implode with double-digit totals. My angle. In a field this close, the margin between cut and weekend is razor-thin and often hinge on a single fairway hit or a single conversion putt. This is where the Real coaching insight comes in. How do you coach a player through that psychological marathon? Maintaining technique when the body is telling you to stop. The takeaway for viewers is that the difference between contender and also ran at this level can be a handful of small decisions, not a dramatic overhaul. It underscores a trend in top-level golf. Marginal gains matter, and the teams around the players are optimizing even the tiniest edges. Deeper insight. What does this say about the season's arc? A weekend at the Players is more than just a missed opportunity. It's a data point about endurance, recovery, and the schedules that shape major championships. If McIlroy can stabilize his game and ride the momentum into the Masters, this could look like a turning point. Proof that his core skills survive hurt, and that the strategic patience he's shown in recent years is paying off. What this raises a deeper question about is how athletes recalibrate expectations after injuries. When you're a defending champion with a history of high-pressure comebacks, the clock isn't just about the next shot. It's about preserving a career narrative that's still unfolding. Closing thought. The takeaway isn't just whether Rory makes the cut. It's what this small, stubborn win to stay in the tournament reveals about elite competitors. It's not the perfect week, but it's a blueprint for how to manage pain, adjust strategy on the fly, and keep faith in your process when the body and the course are conspiring against you. If you take a step back, this is a reminder that golf, like many high-performance fields, asks us to value the willingness to endure and the clarity of purpose as much as the scorecard. So I'll be watching how he uses those 2 days to recalibrate for Augusta. Do you think these kinds of resilience stories get enough credit in the narrative machines of sports media? I'm curious to hear your thoughts about how much mental depth versus physical recovery actually shifts a season for a player at this level.